Okay, so this is just a super quick video to give you a bit of guidance on what you're going to look for in a protein powder. So what I'm going to recommend for powders is you get the pack and you look on the back at the per 100 grams to start with. And what you're looking for is that the calories are about 380 per 100 grams and the protein is around 74 grams per 100 grams. Then what that's going to mean is that when you look at a portion, the portion is going to be for getting about 25 to 30 grams of protein. You're going to be looking, if you make it with water, about 125 to 150 calories a time. So this is why I'm saying this is really important. A lot of powders that you're going to look at and a lot of products you're going to look at will say they're a protein powder, and they might actually be either a meal replacement powder or they might be something that says it has protein in but isn't a true powder, isn't a true protein powder in the sense when I'm saying use a protein powder. If you're looking at pre-mixed protein shakes and protein bars, then you're going to be looking for, on the back again, you're going to look, and at this time you're just going to look at the servings probably to see if it's about 25 to 30 grams of protein for about maximum 250 calories. The reason that's going to be more than making up your protein shake with water is because they'll have mixed it with milk if it's a protein shake that's pre-made. If it's a bar, it's going to have other things in carbs, fats, etc. If it's got less protein, more calories, etc., what that's probably going to mean is that it's got a lot more carbs, a lot more fats, so that's probably not going to be what you want at that point. There is also some meal replacement powders and bars. How you're going to tell that is that when you look at it, as well as having about 25 to 30 grams of protein, it's also going to have more carbs and fats. Each brand is going to be different in terms of the number of carbs compared to the number of fats, but generally speaking you're going to look at between 300 and 400 calories, and it's going to probably have around, as I said, 25 to 30 grams of protein you're looking for, and then it's going to have a mixture of carbs and fats. Lastly, some of the bars, what you're going to find is that it talks about impact carbs, and what that means is, for example, like a grenade bar or something like that, it's got the 25 to 30 grams of protein and it's about 250 calories, but then when you look at the carbs, it's got something called polyols, and what that is that they've got these carbs that allegedly aren't absorbed by the body, so that's why if you did the sums it would come out as more, but they're saying that you don't absorb the carbs. One thing to say as a word of caution about those sorts of things, well, two things actually. One is they're really highly processed food source, and obviously what we want to be doing ideally is getting your calories from a minimally processed source. So although it's potentially a good way if you wanted a chocolate bar and instead you had like a protein bar, you're getting more protein for the same number of calories as you would if you had a Kit Kat or something. You don't want to be looking at that as your main source of nutrition because it is very highly processed. Additionally, there's been research where they've taken these bars into the labs and they've been a lot more calories and a lot more carbs than they say they are. So just a word of caution on that as well. Lastly, a little bit about things like Huel and other similar meal replacement shakes. Obviously what I said about meal replacement shakes before applies. They can work really well for you. Generally speaking, they're vegan, but not always. I've had clients be have real success with when they've been kind of on the go, on the run, when they've had either the powder or a premixed shake where they've got as their backup plan if they couldn't get a meal. Again, we don't want everything to be coming from that, but they are a really good backup plan. But obviously, just to read the labels and have a check. In terms of brands, the one I use is this one, Raw Sport Elite Repair. It's vegan, gluten-free, etc. Another good brand is Reflex. They do both vegan and whey. Optimum Nutrition Pure Whey is also a high quality product, and SciTech Whey as well. This vegan one and this whey, for example, they're more or less the same macronutrient profile. What I will say is you get what you pay for. So if you buy a really cheap product, it's not going to digest well. You might get bloating, you might get protein farts, which are completely minging, and the bulking ingredients aren't going to be as good. So you do get what you pay for. The brands that I've just said are probably the main ones I would recommend. Some PhD products are okay as well, but others I'm not a fan of. I've had mixed responses from clients when they've used them. So those are the 4 that I would recommend. Any other questions, let me know.